Before we start on the main tutorial, I would like to show you some basic skills of using Apple Pencil. I've already drawn the shapes of all the leaves and I have used a lock transparency setting, which is this one, which means that everything I paint will be inside these shapes. I also have a background layer on, so this way you can't even see the shapes. You can switch it on or off. Blocky mixer is a great option. I really love it if you have Adobe Fresco subscription. If you haven't got Adobe Fresco subscription, I recommend using Manet mixer. I'm gonna start with Manet mixer actually. I'm actually pressing on this brush really lightly. You don't actually have to apply any pressure at all. You just put the brush on the screen, not apply any pressure, and just paint. The reason why I say no pressure is because if you start pressing on this brush, you will end up with less texture. And this is not what we want. So when you're working with these brushes, just remember to go lightly. And I will remind you during the tutorial as well. When you're using a blocky mixer brush, which is another brush that I use in this tutorial, it's basically the same idea. Because you can see when you're really pressing on the brush, you're losing this textury effect. And it's okay if you prefer the visual look of this type of illustration, but just for this tutorial, I really like to keep this wonderful texture, because texture in illustration is very important. It makes it look more warm, more sort of friendly. And this is what many clients are looking for. They're looking for more of a hand-drawn, textured feel. So texture is our friend. We want texture. That's why we want to make sure that we don't press too much. Don't press too hard on your pencil. I've got one multicolor swatch here that I'm going to use. It's already got many different colors on it. It's got blue, a bit of pink and green. Also, you will notice that in this tutorial, I'm working from light to dark because the shapes that I started with were quite lightly colored. But in the main tutorial, we will be working from black to light. So this is what I needed to tell you about the mixer brushes. And then I'm going to show you how to use ink brushes to create a detail inside the leaf. This detail is super important because it's going to really finish your illustration and make it look clean and professional. I'm going to use the Belgian Comics brush, and this is one trick I need to show you. At the moment, the smoothing is set to number 1. If I start drawing with this smoothing, you will see that my line is going to be very uneven. It's okay if you're after this sort of style, but I prefer a more finished look. So I'm going to turn the smoothing up to probably 95. Another tip is if you want to make a smooth line, don't make your sketch too big, because then you have to make a much longer journey for your hand. If you make your sketch smaller, all you need to do is one little stroke. So we're going to start and make the stroke. Now, if you look at the stroke, it hasn't got the same evenness across the stroke. This part is much thicker. This is achieved by pressing on the pencil. And the way I do it is I start by not pressing on the pencil much, then I add the pressure, and then I release the pressure in the end. So effectively, no pressure, pressure, and then release. no pressure, press, release. That's how you get this lovely curve. Let's try again. This is much better than just applying the same pressure, because you see that the line will not be as elegant. So again, no pressure, add pressure, and then no pressure. And the same effect, the same idea applies when you're drawing the little lines inside the leaves. In this case, we want to start from the outside, applying little pressure, and then add more pressure. So you see we get this curve. Let's try again. This is probably too thick. So even when you apply the pressure, you want it to be not too big. And if you don't get it right the first time, you can always undo. But try to have this pressure, no pressure idea in your drawing. This is how you create this really elegant and professional looking strokes. So if you want to go ahead and practice just making the strokes, I have given you the file with just the outlines of the leaves, and you can use it to add the leaf details and really try to make it look similar to these ones.